Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we're going to be working on activity 2.1.3, putting it together, and we're scrolling down here to our deliverables and we're going to be working to complete the selfie stick assembly. Right, so you can download a copy right here if you're working in Onshape, or a copy right here if you're working in Fusion 365. If you're working in Fusion 360. Hopefully you have already done that, because the previous video we downloaded a copy and created our connector pin, and we're going to be picking up where we left off there. So if you need a copy of how it is constructed, we can get that right here from the assignment. So moving into Onshape, I've set up folders for all of our projects or activities. I suggest you do the same. It makes it a lot easier to find than looking down through all of your different documents. So right here, selfie stick, got selfie stick video. Right, and here is our connector pin that we created last time, left it blue so that it kind of sticks out from all the other parts. So we're going to start constraining these parts together, or mating them together, what it's called in Onshape. The very first thing that I want to do, and when I'm building this selfie stick, I'm thinking from the kind of the bottom up. I've actually put all of my parts in order down here from when they will be worked with or attached. So starting with the stick bottom, I'm then going to attach to the bottom, the top. From there, I can attach the adapter. The shoe bottom will go into place. The connector pin will hold them together. The shoe will go into the stick bottom, and then the shoe top will rest on the shoe bottom. Right, and then the phone holder bottom will come in, resting on the shoe, and then the phone holder top will go on top of the bottom. So I've put everything in order for how I'm going to use them, just for OCD purposes. No real reason. However, if I'm starting with the bottom, the one thing I need to do first, so that I'm not moving it all over the place and attaching things here or attaching things there, I'm going to move it real close right here to the origin. Right over top of the origin mark right there. I'm going to right click, fix. So it's grounded, it's fixed, it can't move. Can't move it anywhere. A little symbol comes up. Mouse says, oh, no way. So it's stuck. Everything else can be moved, so now everything's going to move to it. I'm going to hide my origin so it's easier to see. So the first thing I need to do is attach the stick bottom to this, or the stick top to the stick bottom. And if you're working in Fusion 360, you downloaded the parts file, a lot of these ends will be threaded. I believe this guy is threaded. I believe this side of the yoke is threaded. The underside of the yoke is threaded. So that tells me that if those are threaded connections, they're not going to be able to revolve. Right? You're not going to have your phone on a threaded connection revolving, because you would be constantly tightening that connection or loosening that connection. So if that's the case, then I want the entire stick to not only be able to kind of go in and out of the stick bottom, I also want it to be able to revolve within that stick bottom. Right? So to do that, we not only need, we would not use the slider mate, because that would just go in and out. We're going to use this cylindrical mate. That allows for it to go in and out, right, as well as revolve. So let's select our cylindrical mate, and I want it to go from the inside of our bottom piece. Zoom in until I get the inside of the bottom piece. You can see it highlighted in orange. I hold shift so I can zoom out and it not click off of there. And it gives me these three white dots. White dot, white dot, white dot. I'm going to attach to the middle one. It gives me my little triad when I'm close to it. The one I'm going to click on the middle one. Right, so now the inside's selected. Now I want to attach it to the outside of my stick top. And I'm going to click on the middle again. And boom, they're in. So the cool thing that I found with Onshape is you can now test your connection with this little play button over here. Right, so you see the blue line, it's coming out, and the other blue circle, it's spinning 360 degrees. So it's able to translate, and it's able to revolve. So that's exactly what I want. Perfect. All right, I don't have any limits set up yet. I'm not going to set up limits for now. And limits will just will allow the stick to not slide out and or break the laws of physics and go through a solid. All right, so we'll just leave it right there. If we ever want to check a connection, we can double click over here on the mate we just did, or of mate in the past, and we can always just hit that play button to see if our connection is correct. Right, so that's perfect. So now I need to attach this yoke or the stick adapter to the end right here. And now that I know that it is threaded, it's going to be a completely solid fixed connection, not going to move. Alright, so to achieve that, I'm going to do a fasten mate. So that's like covering it in glue, not going to move. And I'm going to click on the end. So this little cylinder, I'm going to click on not the outside of the cylinder, but just the kind of edge. So I'm zooming in the edge right here. I have the edge of that little cylinder, and then this is why it's so important to have a mouse. So you constantly play with it, zoom in and out. And then I'm going to click just the edge of this yoke of the stick adapter. Alright. That looks to be good. I can hit play. Nothing happens. That's perfect. It's a fixed connection. So we are golden. Alright, let's go back and look at it traditionally. So that's good. That's perfect. So now let's put in our shoe bottom. Alright, we can kind of look and see how close we're going to be, which is fine. We could make it on one side. And so since the shoe bottom is going to be held in place with this pin, and supposedly this side right here is threaded, then that would mean the bottom of our pin would have been threaded, and this shoe bottom would be able to go back and forth, so rotate. Alright, because it's just going to be pinned, and then this pin is going to be screwed in over there. So let's attach this shoe bottom with a revolute mate. Right, revolute mate. Oh, where did my shoe bottom go? Alright, so I'm gonna click on this outside edge of that. I want it to line up with the outside edge of that hole. Alright, let's see what a play does. That's perfect. Can revolve around that hole. Now, again, we're breaking laws of physics with two solids occupying the same space at the same time, and we can fix that by setting up limits, but we're not going to set those up quite yet. And you can see that it's favored more to this side than to that side. That's perfectly fine. We could do an offset to make it right in the middle. But if it's just on a pin connector and that pin connector is not a solid connection, it's going to have the ability to slide, right? And then when you crank down on that screw, it would kind of bend that yoke into that shoe to lock it into place. Right? So let's do, the last one we're going to do for the day is add in our pin connector. All right? So what I'm going to do with this pin connector, since it's a screw and I don't want it to move, I'm going to do a fasten. Try to do the bottom side of this pin. Actually, I can do the top side because that'll be easier for me to locate and attach to on the other side. So I'm going to do the top side of this pin, or the kind of the underside of this pin, right where the shaft connects with the head. Alright, and then I'm going to zoom in right here and do this edge the same. Perfect. Give it a play sign. Seems to be working. Let's look at it from the front. All right, if all our measurements worked out, we should not have any interference. Actually, the shaft might be a tiny bit too long. But the good thing, if our shaft is a tiny bit too long, we can come in here to our connector where we constructed it, go into Sketch. We made that 1, and our measurement, our depth of hole was 0.9875. So let's change that to 0.98. Green check. That fixes it. Let's go back in here to the assembly. See if we can look at translate. It should be very, very close. So we can see that the pin right here comes up slightly short of the hole. That's what we want. All right, enough tolerance. So perfect. All right, so we're going to stop it right here. So we've got the stick bottom. The stick top can come out and revolve. Right, around, revolve within the bottom. And then with the shoe can go back and forth if I can grab onto the shoe. Right, see everything's kind of animating itself there. Alright. So we have all of that. Next time we're going to work on putting together the rest of the shoe and putting the phone holder together. Alright, thank you for joining.